Now we have State Senator Dan Kapanke right into our studio, rushed straight in from the bad weather. Thanks for being here to talk more about this very important and pressing issue here in the state of Wisconsin. First of all, you have said that you are going to vote for Governor Walker's bill. Tell us, first of all, why that is.
Well, if the bill doesn't change substantially one way or another, I will be voting for it. And what a lot of people don't understand or don't want to face the facts is that this state of Wisconsin has serious financial issues that we must face. These issues have been kicked down the road way back. We took the tobacco money, $700 million. We stole over $1 billion from the transportation fund. We owe the state of Minnesota $60 million thereabouts in reciprocity payments. We can no longer do that. We have to face the fact that we have to make some deep cuts in how we're operating here in Wisconsin. And this budget adjustment bill is the first step. The next step will come on March 1st when the governor gives his biannual budget.
Senator, how do you explain to people, because I don't think there are a lot of people that would argue with you that something has to be done with the budget and to kind of live within our means, like families are expected to do every day. However, some people really might take issue, though, with the fact that you have fire, police, and troopers who aren't necessarily being lumped in with all the other workers with those unions. Why are they so different than anybody else?
That's a good question, and that's been asked over and over again by my constituents of me. And you know, I think those are some of the issues that will be addressed in the two-year budget. I mean, that'll be introduced on March 1st, and we'll be talking about that through June 30th. So it'll give us a lot of time to look at other areas that might help us balance our budget.
But do you think they should be immune? Do you think union workers should be treated differently?
It was the governor's budget, and they were excluded in his initial budget. And I know there's going to be a lot of discussions again starting on March 1st as to how we might look at other areas to balance our budget.
When you talk about the state having a budget deficit and a budget problem, clear this up for us. There's been information, there's a memo that I have actually right here from the Legislative Fiscal Bureau that was sent out to lawmakers on January 31st, saying actually that there was a $121 million surplus in the state. How do you explain the difference?
Well, that's another good question that's been asked of me over and over again. And Fiscal Bureau Bob Lang is a terrific director there, and I don't question those numbers at all. I'm sure the governor doesn't either. But let's look at, again, on December 1st of 2010, we owed to the state of Minnesota, our friends over here, almost $60 million. The last administration just walked off the job and said, you guys take care of it, and didn't pay the bill. Several budgets ago, we took $200 million out of the Injured Patients Compensation Fund. That was in court. It was challenged, and the Supreme Court of the state of Wisconsin said, you know what, the medical professionals and the medical institutions that put that money in that fund, it belongs to them, not you. Slapped our hands, and now we have to pay that back. And it's now up to about $230 or $240 million, and it's accruing interest at the rate of $80,000 per day. Think about that, $80,000 per day, because several years ago, the administration and the legislature did not have the discipline to cut back. Instead, they took money from wherever they could find, in whichever cookie jar it was, whether it's transportation, Injured Patients Compensation Fund, don't pay a bill to Minnesota. So those things have to be paid. And part of this budget adjustment bill is refinancing bonding that we have here in Wisconsin that will net about $165 million.
Okay.
Part of that money is going to go to pay Minnesota. Part of that money is going to begin the process of paying off the Injured Patients Compensation Fund, which we owe. So that's why we have to do this, and that has to be done, as I understand it, by February 25th, which is Friday of this week.
Okay, very quickly, because we're running out of time. What do you think Republicans are prepared to do to get the Democrats with the Senate back to the Capitol?
You know, that's going to be up to the Senate Democrats. They were elected to do a job, and I have great friends on the other side of the aisle, but I think that I would urge them to come onto the floor of the Senate and debate this bill, which is a democratic process.
And real quickly, the unions are coming back and saying we're ready to make concessions on benefits. We're not going to make concessions on our collective bargaining, or I should say, make any. What's the word I'm looking for? Any.
Well, concessions or changes.
In their collective bargaining,
right.
but
they want to preserve it.
Right. And you know, if we had more time, we could get into that. But quite frankly, when the budget comes on March 1st, it'll become very clear as to why we need those concessions, because shared revenue to municipalities and the school aids, there's no way to go but down because of the $3.6 billion shortfall that we're facing in the next 2 years. So we have to cut, and those areas are going to be cut. I can't tell you how much, but because of that, local units of government, whether it be school boards or municipalities, town boards or city councils, they have to have the flexibility in dealing with their people, their employees, in addressing the shortfall that they're looking at.
Well, Senator, thanks so much for being with us tonight. I know
Glad.
it was difficult
Sorry,
getting here in
late.
the weather.
Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you very much.
And